Hi guys, James here, and what I have here is my #1 axe. This is a 1972 ES-345 that I actually owned twice. I owned it back in the 90s and I had it for many years. I had to sell it because I ran into some money problems, which broke my heart, but gotta do what you gotta do. And I recently stumbled across it in a local guitar store here in Toronto, and I bought it back again. But the Bigsby is going to go. I'd rather have a stop tailpiece on it. Now this is not a collector's grade guitar by any stretch. It's a great playing guitar, sounds awesome, everything you got about it is amazing. But it's not a collector's grade guitar, so I'm not too concerned about making changes on it. Besides, I'm not ever going to sell it again anyway. It's just going to go to the grave with me. So I'm going to make it the way I want it. So there's going to be a stop tailpiece going on her. Here's the piece right here. I've been watching eBay, Craigslist and whatnot for the longest time, waiting for the right parts to come across. And I found it. This is off of 1990, 91. I think the ad said Les Paul. It's aluminum, so it's light as air. There's nothing there to it weight-wise. And I got this one. It's got some. It's hard to tell in the light, but the gold has worn off it nicely because I wanted to match the rest of the guitar. I don't want some shining like in your face gold. And it also came with a really nice bridge too. Nashville Tunematic. I think this might be a Tone Pros because it has those little screws there to lock the posts. So I'm going to see if this will slide over the little posts on here. If it does, I'm going to use it. If it doesn't, I'll just stick with this bridge because this bridge works fine anyway. And otherwise, I would have to drill out the holes and put in the anchors. These older guitars, the screws, the anchors go right into the wood. There's no actual anchor there. The screw goes straight into the wood. So if this will slide right on there, I'll use it. If it doesn't, then it goes in the drawer for another project. I got the anchors and the screws for the bridge. Brand new, snappy new drill bit, 1/2 inch to drill the holes. I want them nice and clean. And that's it. So give me a minute to get set up, and we'll get started. Okay. I got the bridge held in place here by the strings that go to the Bigsby, which is kind of handy. And I've done some checking online, looked at lots of pictures of these things, and the bridge pretty much lines up with the switch. That's the proper place. So it's not too far back, not too far forward. It's pretty much spot on where it's supposed to be. It's if you look at them, they're very close to lined up with the switch. Some are off a little bit one way or the other, but generally lined up with the switch, so that's where I've gone. I've measured that up with my handy dandy ruler here. So from using the string as a reference to the edge, and the string as a reference to the edge, I've got it centered this way pretty much. I know this string's a bit bigger than that string, but I've accounted for that. And same thing again. I've measured along the string to the Bigsby, over to the edge of the tailpiece, and then again from the Bigsby along the other string to the edge of the tailpiece. So it's aligned this way and this way. So that's pretty much where it has to be. So what I'm going to do now is mark the center points for the holes. And what I'm using here is a drill bit that is the same radius as, put some light on the subject, that's the same radius as the cutouts on the tail, and it's got the little sharp point there. So what I will do is, again, try to get some light. What I will do is put the drill bit in and seat it properly and give it a little crap. twist. Hang on, I shifted everything. Hang on. Okay, I got it all lined up again. So what I'll do is I'll put the screw here, the drill bit there, and just give it a little twist. A little bit of pressure, not much. I just want to put a little dimple in the wood. Okay, that's that. There. So now I can get this out of the way. And I can see two little marks where I want to start my drilling. So I'll get the drill and I'll put a mark here and a mark here. Or sorry, a little pilot hole there and there, and work my way up to the full-size drill. Okay, alrighty, here we go. I've lined up the drill length with one of the anchors, because it really sucked to go all the way through. Make sure the drill is more or less straight. Okay, hang on, I'll change drill bit. Just going a little bit at a time. Going from slightly bigger to slightly bigger holes until I get closer to the full-size half-inch hole. And I'll use the new drill bit. Here we are, we're up to the full-size half-inch. And that's it. Now, what I got to do is drill a little hole, angling that way, into the control cavity, because there's a ground strap wire that has to go from the bridge to the electronics, just to ground everything so you don't get that ugly hum. So I'll find a thinner drill and I'll just poke it in this way, and we're all good to go. And I'll take the strings and the trim off it too at this point. Alrighty. The half-inch holes are drilled. I got a little hole drilled across that goes into the electronics cavity for the ground. And here's the ground wire. Just push that right through. And then we grab it with a set of tweezers. Put it over out of the way. And there you go. Now, what I'm going to do is take this piece of wire, soldered, put a little blob of solder on the end of it there, just keep it all together and give it some meat for the anchor to grab onto. So now, I will take this and push it down into the hole. The wire's pushed down there, so there's plenty of wire meat for that to grab onto. I'm now just taking a little sharp knife and putting an ever so slight bevel on the edges here. Not a lot, not taking a lot off, just taking off any burrs or anything that might interfere with the anchors going in, and helps guide it properly into the hole. There. Okay, and you'll notice that the anchors have a little bevel on one end. This end's more square. Try to get some light so you can see. Okay, so yeah, they're a little different on each end. Okay. You'll see this end has a little bit more of a bevel on it than this end does. This is a bit more square. So this is the end that goes in first. It's just the bevel there just to make it go in a hole a bit easier. And the square end comes to the top. And next, we install the anchor. So I just give it a shove, get it started. And normally one would use a mallet, a soft end mallet, which I don't have. So I'm going to use a block of wood and an old school hammer. And we'll just tap that right down, hopefully. Go. I'm going to take the neck brace out. I don't want the pressure on the neck. Okay, and that's that for that one. And I'll spare you the noise and I'll do the other one off camera. Okay, there you are. This one went a little easier because it didn't have the wire in the way. Hang on. Okay, one thing I'm going to do is check to make sure I have a solid ground between the wire and the anchor. Because if I don't, it means I got to pull the anchor out and that will suck. Yep. Perfect. Alright, whoops. Okay. Now what I will do is take that pot out and solder the anchor strap, or sorry, the ground strap to that pot. Okay, hang on one. Okay, we're up to the, what's always the most fun part of working on an ES type guitar is the electronics. Everything has to go through these sound holes. It makes it a major pain in the ass, but after I've been in there a few times, I'm getting fairly good at it. So we like to solder the ground strap to the pot. I can hardly see what I'm doing here because it's an awkward angle. Just want to make sure it's a good solder joint because I don't want to go back in there again. Okay. Not exactly as good as I'd like it to be, but it'll do. It won't come off. I like it to look pretty too, but sometimes you have to make do with what you have to work with here. Okay, electronics are all back in, working good. Put the anchor bolts in. And the tailpiece slides right on like she should be, so that's all good now. Let's just try this. Which way does it go? It goes this way. Oh, look at that, it fits on there pretty good. I think I'll leave it. Yeah, that's going to work out just fine. Okay. Put the bridge on there. Have to be re-intonated and everything, but that's okay. So there she is. stop tail piece, and we are going to string her up and see what it sounds like. So here she is, 72 ES-345 with the stop bar tailpiece installed. A couple little holes there from where the Bigsby was, that's okay. Goes along with the great big hole where the baritone was. That was the first thing to go. And it's a lot lighter. It's a lot easier to handle. It doesn't have that tail end drop from all that shit hanging off the back. And it's more resonant. Much more resonant with the stop bar than it ever was with the Bigsby. And I use that bridge, this Nashville bridge, which I think is a Tone Pros because it's got the little screws in there. Maybe Gibson used those too at some point, I don't know. But slapped her on, adjusted the action, and slugged it down. All I gotta do is set the intonation. I'll do that tomorrow after the strings have had a chance to settle in nicely. And there it is. One thing I did is in the bottom end here, the back, where the Bigsby wrapped around and screwed on. This thing you see here, this long thing, that's the ground wire that was on there. And I left it attached. I wrapped it around the stud for the strap button. So if I ever want to go back to the Bigsby later, I don't have to worry about that. It's in place. I didn't remove that, so it's there. It doesn't get in anybody's way. It's hardly visible, so who cares? And other than that, she's good to go. So, any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching.